up? I just watched The Tomorrow World. Is that what it's called? Dude, the title is so bad. Spoilers, because obviously. So, I'm going to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like, and things that made no sense that the movie tried to explain. Uh, like I said, spoilers. Okay, I just finished watching it. So, one, I really enjoyed the characters. The characters were really. I mean, I didn't remember anyone's name, anyone at all. So it's gonna be fun to describe who is who. Um, what is this man? Chris Pratt. I figured out that his acting is mostly him going. I was like, even like the emotional scenes, he wasn't that like. Miranda Lawson. Again, I don't know this actress's actual name. I'm so sorry. Actually, I have my computer right here. Hold on. Why don't I just let's be respectful towards the actors. Oh my god, her last name, I have no idea how to pronounce it. But her name is Yvonne, I think. Uh, okay, so all the actors, so like Yvonne, Betty Gilpin, J.K. Simmons, Jasmine Matthews, Mary Lynn Rajskub, Sam Richardson, like all of these people, their characters I enjoyed them. Like even obviously they couldn't do like this massive introduction of characters because everything was supposed to be like very quick, very time efficient, like short time. So they couldn't like sit down and like shell out all these characters, but they did a really good job in the sense of like, hold on, there's this one actor that's not on the list. He did a really, and I'm pretty sure he was in the Purge movie. I think it's Edwin Hodge. I am almost 100% sure that this man was in the Purge movie. Yeah, he was. I was like, he seems so like visually like I've seen him before. Anyways, um, they're really good actors, and so I enjoyed each character. Like even like the characters that like for example like Marilyn Rajowski and Mike Mitchell, who they both die very like they're the cannon fodder of like the characters who are going to die. Even I enjoyed their like little like tidbits with like the other characters. Like it gave them more depth. They just weren't like the other characters were just had no dialogue, so you kind of were just like, oh, who died? Was it that one? Oh wait, no, it's not, because I see them in the other shot. Okay, someone else must have died. So like they did what they could. Obviously, even the character asked like, why couldn't you have gone like early in the war? And they're like, time is like a river, and we have two like lifeboats, and we can only go from one lifeboat to the other lifeboat, and it keeps on moving, which I guess makes sense because like, instead of being like, yeah, why didn't you arrive before this whole thing? But during the explanation of Yvonne, I really hope that's how you pronounce her name. I think it is. She was Miranda Lawson in Mass Effect. This is honestly that's why I watched this movie, because she was in it. She did a wonderful job. Anyways, she explains that they don't know how they arrived, that they researched and they couldn't really determine how. They just knew that it was this time. So I guess that even if they had arrived like, actually no, you know what, even if they had arrived like a year before, they probably could have like figured out somehow some reason. But yeah, it was just kind of like you had to ignore the like they basically played it off like, oh, this time worm that we made is like being held by like chewing gum and like chicken bones, because we don't really know we did it, we just did it. So I guess it makes sense. And then when you see that the people that they're recruiting are people who are supposed to die in like a couple years, and I guess they just tell people like, yeah, you're gonna die anyways, which like morally, like to give morale, I don't know how you're sending people off to like fight these creatures and then just being like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna die eventually. So, and people who had no military training, like they're like the draft, but like even when I feel like even when it's the draft, they kind of what's the word, like train them, whereas in this one, like civilians who have no idea what they're doing are being sent here. And obviously in this group, Chris Pratt's characters, they're like, we need to send you quick because the facility's under attack, so even though we wouldn't, we even if we had those 7 days, we could have trained you. Like, there's no amount of training a civilian can do in 7 days to be like the top level of like ex-military, you know. um so that was kind of like, okay. Like I said, I really enjoyed the characters by themselves, like Sam Richardson, Gator, and all these. They were very funny. They brought a lot of life to the movie, and I feel like it made the movie way better because the characters had, they were people. They weren't just like, I'm one dimensional. Here is my pet peeve though. We're supposed to believe that Chris Pratt's character, I don't remember what his name is, he's very like hates his father for abandoning him, and he calls him weak, and he says, you didn't leave us for like our um like for us, you left because you were a coward, and you're supposed to let me believe that this man down the line was supposed to leave his wife, divorce, and then just die in a car crash and just leave his daughter when all he's like, you're my pride and like, I'm supposed to believe that? Like, I'm supposed to believe he basically turned out like his dad? I didn't believe it. Like, unless he would have told me, like, showed me him being more like not dedicated. Like, even when he was interviewing for that job that he wanted, he still came back. He didn't like leave and go to drink or something. If he had left and gone to drink, I would have been like, ah, yeah, he has the inklings of an abandoning, like a bad father. But no, even though he was pissed and sad and disappointed, he still came back. Oh my god, that scared me. And watched the football game. Football game. Well, yeah, football game with his daughter. So I was like, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. And the mental, I think they really missed out on an opportunity between husband and wife. So between Betty Gliplin and Chris Pratt. When Chris Pratt comes back from the future and watches his own daughter just die, like literally just die in front of him. And the mental, like, I like that they showed that he was shaking, and but his face wasn't given. I was like, dude, show more sadness. Show, like, I was expecting when he'd see his like young daughter for him to like burst into tears, but he just hugged her, and I was like, Chris, give me something, something. I mean, your wife, she did more emotional anguish, and she didn't even know. And when he talked about it, I saw that he like obviously kind of made her deduce that she died. And obviously he wasn't gonna go into detail like, oh yeah, like we divorced and all that. But like, have an emotional scene, have that scene where he's breaking down because of the fact that he watched his daughter just die in front of him, like, and not a good death, and he couldn't save her. And even though technically she's saved because she's, well, not that point because they hadn't killed the aliens yet, but technically she was still alive because she was there. Like, I feel like it was a missed opportunity to have like that moment, and his wife being like the pillar of strength and being like, no, no, she's right here, we can do this, we can save, like, you know. But no, it was kind of like, oh, missed opportunity. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so that, okay, the moment when they basically explained the aliens were still like under, like they were just always there, and I was like, ah, climate change. I was expecting, I mean, even though they give hints in the background being like, yeah, climate change is gonna ruin us, we're dying, the planet, I really like the themes of this movie being like, please take climate change seriously, we need to put aliens for you to take it seriously. And I love obviously like the politician being like, you know, I can't send like a squadron of soldiers, you know, to do this. And then when it worked out, he was like, I personally sent them. I was like, dude, at least he didn't get anyone arrested, I assume. But like, obviously the people in the future who got stuck in the past, who I'm assuming by what Sam Richardson's character and Chris Pratt's character, they deduced that the people who are here were people who weren't born yet, because to not have like the double people, I get, you know, time stuff. So even though they died, they didn't die because they're gonna be born in like, who knows, like 10 or 5 years down the line. So technically, they died, but they didn't die. So like their deaths aren't permanent. Um, but yeah, when what's his name? What is that actor's name? The one who was in The Purge. When Edwin Hodge, his character is like, there were some corny lines where I was like, the whole like, there were other good funny lines, but there was some where I was like, ugh. But I really liked his character, and like I was like, how am I gonna be an asshole who says no to saving a dude's daughter? And I liked how he was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna take control of my own life, and exploded the whole thing. And it was like a huge colony. I thought that was really funny when they go with like the syringes full of, I don't know what it is. I just call it acid because it like burns them or whatever, and they shoot like four of them, and they're like, ah, it worked. And then obviously they start screeching, and the animals or aliens or whatever hear them as well, and then they wake up and they're like, oh my god, and then they're trying to like, it was just like, you guys did not think this through enough. Like, you needed more people or more syringes, or to like quickly, instead of taking that moment to like, oh my god, it worked. um but it was like a whole, so you know what it reminded me, kind of like Prometheus. Was it Yeah, it was Prometheus. When the aliens have like this container of death that they were gonna take to Earth, but they accidentally like crash landed or something like that happened. I don't even remember that movie anymore. But basically, the same thing happened here. These like aliens that looked kind of humanistic, but also mixed with like what are these monsters called? White Claw, kind of like the drink. What were they called? I have no idea. We're just gonna pretend that they were called. Uh, does it say here? No. Whatever. I'm gonna call them White Claw. Um, and they kind of looked mixed, like kind of like they had engineered these like pets, who were like killer pets who like wiped out humanity. Well, whatever planet they were going to, and they kind of like crash landed on Earth. But I don't know how the animals survived. I guess maybe because they were like this mucus thing. I don't know. But when you see the amount of them, and you're just like, oh. And of course, one of the first ones to escape is the queen. A queen is a female, not a queen. These aren't bees. There was one moment where I had difficulty knowing what was happening near the end. When you have Chris Pratt's dad, aka, what is his name? J.K. Simmons? J.K. Simmons. And Sam Richardson, they're standing like at the entrance of the ship. But then when Chris Pratt comes out being like, where are you? They're nowhere to be found. And then he walks out, he runs, and then obviously Edwin, I think, what's his name, Edwin blows everything up because they have to, basically, all the aliens that are in there are alive and waking up. And then Chris runs like the wind, escapes the explosion, and somehow Sam Richardson and J.K. Simmons are just laying there for some reason. And then they're like, yeah, you know, she escaped, so what, did they chase after her and then just like gave up? And they were like, ah. And then they were like, oh, Chris came, okay, good, go chase that female. Like, that was kind of like, okay, decisions are made. But yeah, I don't know if I enjoy, like, this is a movie that I'm probably not gonna watch again. I mean, honestly, I might watch it one more time with my parents, just because I feel like it'd be fun. They would probably enjoy it just for like the kicks of it, but not a movie that I would recommend. Not really. And a movie that the main character, aka Chris Pratt, didn't really reach the emotional talent that I was expecting. Like, Miranda Lawson, aka Yvonne Strahovski, she delivered. She did it. And I'm not surprised. Like, I saw a couple episodes with her, and I think she's in what is that show called? The Handmaiden Tale. And she's amazing. Like, there's no, like, she's amazing. So I'm not surprised that she was emotionally, like, amazing in this movie. Like, her scenes made me, like, tear up. Almost cry. But Chris, I was like, do something. Your face. Act sad or like desolate. Like, you just witness your daughter dying. I get the shock, but even the shock was just kind of like him looking at this. But the aliens were so cool. Like, the concept of them, well, I don't know how they would make a movie. Well, I feel like this movie had so much potential if they had just nixed the whole time thing, or if they had done like the time thing, they would have did it like I honestly don't know how you could save this movie with the whole time thing, but I feel like if they would have done the aliens, it would have been so cool because the concept of the aliens is so interesting. They look cool. The whole like protecting the female, and there's like a bunch of like it's kind of like a beehive kind of, and because the complicated thing is that we're shown the future where everything is like desolate and sad and everyone's dying, so you can't connect to that future because it hasn't happened. You're just seeing the end results, and at the beginning you also can't connect to this like galactic thing galactic this like sad thing because it's the beginning and it hasn't happened. So you're at two polar opposites of it hasn't happened, it is already happening. They're at the ends of their wits. They're basically accepting that they're trying to save the past. Yeah, they can't save their future because everyone's gone. And we're left with the middle part, which would have been so cool to see if they really wanted to do that like time thing. They could have made it progress more the future till let's say like Yvonne Vicky to see her until she was like 10, you know, before her father left. So her father was still there, and then the war happened, and then you know, so then it would have been like trying to salvage their like childhood, try to salvage their life. So there isn't like they can't fully go to the past where there's nothing there. So these are starting the war and they're ending the war, you know, like so then you would have had more investment in this like war. But they showed like outside consequences that I didn't really care about because it was kind of like humanity being kind of selfish in the sense of like why should we care, it's not about us, the future, like the war hasn't happened. It's like but it's going to happen, like you will probably be alive. And then I did not care about the outside influences and stuff like that. It was stupid, but I feel like it had potential, and the aliens had potential, and the cast, a lot of them I enjoyed. Like they were funny, and you know they gave depth to the character how they could. But it just felt like something was just a lot of things were missing to make this like a good summer movie. Didn't reach it. Kind of crazy when you think about the movie and the concept and the plot of it. I don't know why they decided to put time travel in. I guess because, you know, to create like this time sensitive thing, but by drafting everyone and not training them and having like, mm, mm. So yeah, this movie, my review of it is if you've got time to spare, watch it. If you like Miranda Lawson, definitely watch this movie because I have no complaints ever about Yvonne. This woman can do anything and I will watch her. Like she's just an amazing act. She like her, Megan Fox, Salma Hayek. What is her name? Spy Kid's mom. Gina? Is her name Gina? Gina Will? I don't think that's her name. But there are a few actresses. Let's be honest, probably like 20. That does not matter what they do. I will watch them in their movie or show or whatever. And Yvonne is one of them. Mostly because I found her out because of Mass Effect, and I was like, oh my god. And then I looked at her because, you know, anyways, I'm going off track. Basically, this movie, bonkers. A lot of cons, especially to the plot, especially to some of the decisions that the characters make and the reasons why they make them. But they could have been such a gritty, like sad movie. It had the potential. That's why it's sad. It's like the concept of this movie. Take out the time travel, but the concept of like the aliens and death and all this would have been so cool. It would have been cool if, for example, Yvonne had found like a way to send like video messages. So it wasn't that they were traveling; is that they knew that this was an impending like end, and then you have Yvonne trying to like figure things out, and then he finds out that this is his daughter because they share their name, the last name, like, and then be like, huh, wait a minute, are you my daughter? I don't know, whatever. Or like she has this moment of like, oh, she sees him. I don't know how they make it work. And then she sends back like the cure, like seconds before everything dies, and she's like, save us or whatever. I don't know, but having people physically go there was just kind of like, I mean, again, Yvonne, give her all the screen time. It was a plot twist that I feel like everyone saw coming, that she was. Wait a minute, the character's name is Vicky, but he calls her Miri, right? Oh my god, she's married? Yvonne is married. Oh my god. Anyways, anyways, everyone kind of saw, like, I remember the comments on one of like the trailers that I saw. People were like, watch her being like his daughter, and yeah, it was pretty obvious. Like, that was gonna be his daughter. There was no reason, I guess. But I loved the emotional moments she played, and dude, she's such a good actress. She's just such a good actress. Like, they should have given her more screen time. Okay, so I'm gonna stop because now I feel like I'm just rambling. But yeah, this movie. This is my 2 cents. This is what I think about it. To whoever's watching, did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Do you think it's more? I think it's just like a I've got time to spare type of movie. It's not like I'm gonna watch it like it's just kind of like it is what it is. But the potential, it's kind of like Prometheus. Prometheus had such great potential, and then and don't even get me on Alien Covenant. That was. But yeah, I enjoy alien movies, especially when it's like this, when it's like so high stakes. But then at the end, when it's like, oh, we're the government, we won't talk about it. It's like, ugh, too real, too real. The UN will just talk and talk and talk until the aliens thunder. Till the aliens thunder. Until the aliens melt from their polar ice caps. I like how all the movies have this recurring theme of that we bring our own destruction, obviously through climate change of like, floodings, but also as well as like if you watch The Thing, climate change starts melting and then the thing comes out and then massacres everyone. And then this one, global warming, melting, and then massacres everyone. It's basically telling us, hey, if you just don't stop global warming, on top of having floods, um, forest fires, tsunamis, hurricanes, you will also release maybe a hidden alien down below, and it's gonna kill all of us. And I don't think we're paying attention enough to that in those movies. I feel like they're talking to us and we're just ignoring it. Anyways, I'm gonna stop because I'm rambling a lot since it's 4 in the morning. Bye.